John Wetzel, the Secretary of the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections, toured the Northumberland County Prison construction site on Tuesday. He told county officials that he was impressed with the project and praised their efforts to establish not only a correctional facility, but also a drug and rehab center in the campus of Cole Township.
The detox center is the thing I'm stuck on because it's such a need in Pennsylvania. Like even for our parolees, we're bringing them back to state prison because there's no detox beds in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think that this campus approach to have your infrastructure of your criminal justice system out here makes sense, I think. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're sitting on. You want to spend money once, right? When someone touches a system, if you can get them back on their feet and get them out of the system, we all benefit from that. County jails in particular, you're talking about people from your area. And if you just pop them in here and you don't do anything to address their addiction or their mental health, which I'm guessing 80 to 90% of the people coming in here would fall in one of those two categories, they're going to get back out and not just come back in, but commit more crimes. So when you do something with them while they're out here and make them less likely to do that, you actually, I call it crime prevention. So I think it's critical. I think it's really short-sighted. If all you're doing is putting a big warehouse up and putting people in there, and they sit here for as long as the judge says, you're not getting a big value. It may be cheaper in the front end, but it's not cheaper long-term. And long-term doesn't mean 10 years either. I mean, if you have someone who's addicted, especially opioids, and they're in here 6, 8, 9 months, and you've done nothing to address that addiction, they're just a year older. And they're more likely to overdose when they get out, but they're not going to be over their addiction. So I think it's a critical piece of it, and that's why having the detox center adjacent to here makes so much sense. For instance, your district judges could give someone like a either or bail. Say, look, you can go to the detox center or you can go to jail, it's up to you. And then people will be more incentivized to go to the detox center and start addressing their addiction. And having that prospect of jail hanging over their head is a really strong motivator to make someone, when they're starting to kick the heroin and feeling horrible, to look across the road and say, I can go there or here, it's a big motivator. So I just really think that this is a well thought out plan. I mean, it really makes sense, and we don't always get that in government. It's a project that makes sense, it meets the needs, doesn't overspend. I mean, I think you're a pretty good place here.
John and his office has been in touch with us before we even purchased this, when we were just starting to think about purchasing it and the direction on what me and Rick was planning on with rehabilitation here and everything. And they were sending me stuff all the time, and John and everybody down there has been a part of this whole process. We'd be emailing them and talking to them all along for guidance, and we really appreciate him taking the time, not only helping us, but coming up and any suggestions he might have today or anything as we go forward. But we really appreciate his office and everything they have done since the beginning of this project, not just now.
Right.
Since before we had our first day, when we came out and said, hey, here's the budget, here's what we're doing, we were in contact with John. And that's helpful that the state has worked with us in this whole project.
We thank you for sticking with us and all the help you've given us. And I think that the efficiencies that John's talked about have come about because of the partnership that we've had with you and your staff, and also with our courts, probation, all the people who could contribute to how this was going to unfold and who wanted to contribute to this, came to the table here, and we've had representation from the courts, from probation, from other departments, our warden, obviously, and his staff, every other week for quite a while. So we'll be glad when this comes to a close, and we can hopefully enjoy the fruits of everybody's labor.